What up, everybody? It's your boy King Games 80 of King's Nation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into this video. Not too long ago, it's been some time since I talked about JoJo. Now, as you guys already are aware, I don't like JoJo, the anime. I don't. I never really gave it a fair shakedown though. And I didn't really like the art style. I had a friend that kept on pushing JoJo onto me, so it made me not really like it. This ex-friend I should say, he warned me that part 1 and part 2 would be boring. I watched part 1 and part 2. I enjoyed part 1 and part 2. I liked part 2 over part 1. I have my issues with part 1. I feel like there's a lot of things that were going on that was convenient, you know. I feel like Dio isn't really a good villain. I don't like him. Either it's because he's petty, or the fact that they hype him up so much, but really he's just still ordinary when it comes to a lot of things. And I'll get into that later on. So I made another video. I made a video before some time ago about why I do not like JoJo. And I didn't think I would have to make another video about it. I didn't think, you know, I would even talk about JoJo besides the few slick remarks that I have about it that I just hated, and I really just want to fight JoJo and Dio with my custom characters all day long. So, but I decided to get curious because, you know, playing Jump Force, you know, Dio and JoJo are in the game. So I was curious on how the fight of JoJo and Dio, you know, how they handled that, you know. So my curiosity got the best. So instead of just watching, you know, the fights of JoJo versus Dio, I decided to watch the entire series, and I watched it just so no one can hit on me or be saying, you know, I both dubbed and subbed, or dubbed. Issues. Now that I've watched it, I can say that I still don't like it. Part 3 is utter garbage, and I hate to say it, like, yes, it's creative. Yes, visually it is appealing, but when you break it down to stories and how people in other anime is the good part 1 and 2, but not 3. And I don't know if I'm gonna watch the Diamond Unbreakable series. I don't know if I'm going to. I think the fact that Dio was hyped, you know, strong. I really mostly a Star Platinum pulled out plot. It's just like, okay, so let me go back from the beginning, from part 3. You know, part 3 to me was just get around the world in 80 days, because if you don't, JoJo mother was gonna die. Okay, I get that was the premise, and it wasn't really around the world. Japan got to get to Egypt, and a lot of things happened along the way. But during this trip, I didn't feel a time is of the essence. You know, like, here's a life hanging in the balance. You have to defeat this powerful opponent, but before you can even do that, you have to get there, and people and misfortunes keep on getting in your way. So day after day is getting away from these characters. I think what ruins this aspect, for me at least, you know, is that JoJo and most of the characters are too calm under pressure, at least. You know, except for, I'm gonna say his name wrong, Palmavir, or the dude with Green Emerald and Silver Chariot. I can at least remember their stands names, you know, and Jotaro, or the grandfather. You know, I liked him. He was funny. I enjoyed him. Okay, JoJo, the main JoJo, I don't know if he was just too calm under pressure. I don't know if it was like nothing really fazed him, bothered him. certain times in the anime, you know, you saw him sweat like, oh, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, you know, but it wasn't enough. Your facial expressions or just seemed like he was under the same amount of pressure as if you didn't study for a test and a pop test and you're like, oh no, I don't know what to do. That's how I felt like his pressure was. But it didn't seem like he was cracking like time's going by. My mother's gonna die if I don't beat Dio. If I don't even get to Dio, my mother's gonna die, you know, and it was getting time crunched. You know, there was no feeling of dread. And users were in, like, the Ape stand was a stand. Ape, the JoJo series, they never said animals couldn't be stand. And I guess he was going for a thing, being stuck in a cage, or not really stuck in the cage, on the middle of nowhere on his stand was very interesting. Now the dog stand user, Falcon stand user, as brief as Falcon stand user, I like animal, okay? It was funny, especially the fact that the Falcon, that was funny, the way the Falcon's eyes was expressing its motions. You could easily tell that this Falcon was not uptight, what's the word, I'm better than you, like, doesn't matter what you come up with, I'm gonna get you, you know? Very proud animal, you know, either feeling the pressure of might, or can JoJo or the other stand users win against this opponent? It was lacking in those regards, you know. Visually appealing, you know, hands down, but I'll take a moment. So if you haven't seen it, you might want to leave the stream. I see I got 2 people watching me. Shout outs to them. Red Fire Chicken Man. That guy, he had a false death, meaning that everyone thought he was gonna die, and he did, supposedly. And later on the show, he came back. Now, how they handled it was just poor. You know, he was stabbed and then shot in the head, and then, you know, one of the characters thought the other character didn't care. So that character turned around and saw his face. He was crying, which means he did feel remorse. He did care, you know. He wasn't all like, oh, his death was pointless, you know. It's things like that. So, but they didn't really, sad music, really, it seemed too fast, too swept under the rug, like, oh, he's dead, sweep, you know, next, you know. That's what it felt like. When they did the death for JoJo Part 2, I don't know if I can't remember if he used bubbles or that was one of the Pillar Mans, but it was how he died was with the stone crushing him, and he believed in God, and the statue that fell, or the rubble that fell on him, was in the shape of a cross. I like that. I enjoy that. I felt a little something for him, you know. So I had expectations like, hey, this man's been around, you know, for quite a while, you know, and he's dead. There's some sad music, something, you know. But no, nothing of that. Later on, I think it took like maybe 5 episodes or so, or even most of the series, I want to say, maybe, of season 2 of this, that he shows up good and well, you know, like, haha, I'm alive, you know. And it was a good twist. I applaud them for it. It was a good twist that he wasn't actually glad that they did that, because if that was his death, I would have been disappointed. But the fact that they brought him back, you know, after, I think his name was Aldal, something like that. Yeah, Aldal, something like that. The French one. He wished, like, he thought there was a genie there, and he was skeptical. But finally, when he fell into this belief, he wished for his dead sister to come back and Aldal to come back. And it did not go according to plan. They start like zombies, and then like the real Aldal, like, you know, Frenchie was good. And if they would have killed him there, I would have been satisfied. Okay, that's what's kind of, he's being eaten by his dead and his dead sister, and in his mind that these are actually Aldal's pulling all away or something like that, the fire chicken man away, you know. And I was like, oh shit, well, it could have been him. So I was like, oh well, he surely is gonna die. But this is the real one. It was actually him. Other animes have done it better. Personally, I know people are gonna hate me for this when I false death. Honestly, a god, Issa Juggernaut, you didn't, and I didn't expect that. And to see that page and him crying, truly believing that she is dead, very upset. An angel, like it was that loop. It was a dire situation, but you didn't get to see that. And then there is a point where Idol died, and it was so stupid, and then that felt swept under the rug. And when they get to I'm skipping a lot, but when they found Dia's place, you know, that can mention he's eating things as it's going through, and that's the best way I can explain it. And there was a writing on the wall, and all said, like, saw it, and oh, this someone who sees this and turns back. Long story short, was hesitant. He had this stand ability where it can see if there's other stand users, plus the dog Iggy was there, so he figured that there's no way that someone could be behind me with Iggy, a dog who would be able to smell it out and tell if there's a stand user. Ability was active, so there's no way, like, it was like open radars, this a person could get past both of these things. Turned around and boom, dead, you know, except for his arms. Everything about him got eaten, and except for his arms, and then later on the arms got eaten too. But that was it. No like deep emotion behind it. You know, you kind of see something like this on Attack on Titans. You know, the Titans going and eating, and if it's a main character or something like that, or a character that we know for a while, they'll do like a slow motion, like, you know, they'll scrunch like a potato chip type of thing, you know. That's what will happen. Well, there's my dog. Anyways, so it was rushed again. They treated his death like swept it under the rug, so I was disappointed. And throughout the entire series, never once was I choked up. Never once was I sad, you know, except for one part. Only one. And it wasn't even for any of the characters that I've known for the entire series. It was, I forgot the dog's name. Shit. It was the dog. When the dog died, Iggy. When Iggy died, that choked me up a little bit. I don't know if it was a fact because he was a dog. I don't know if it was because they gave him one episode to himself with the Falcon, where you could actually hear him talk and see his mindset, his personality. That you got to see that this dog wasn't a total dick, abandoning everyone. I mean, granted, this did not want to be here. He didn't want to fight Dio. He did not care what the hell was going on. This dog was literally kidnapped the world and be like, here, there you go. This dog was forced in a sense. It was dog napped. And the dog acted as such. You know, he didn't care. When he saw his supposed comrades in peril, he just turned the other way. He did not care for them. There was no emotional bond. But to see his final act, sacrificing his own life to save a person that he really didn't even care for, you know, was shocking and choked me up a bit. And I think the fact that he was a dog was the reason why I really cared a little bit for this, for Iggy. Seeing him get kicked around and bleeding and like losing a paw. All this was like, is they really gonna kill him? Are they really gonna kill this dog before, you know? So it was choking up, you know. I felt bad, but I like that. That's how you do a death, you know. You got me to care for a dog for one episode. You know, you got me to care for him, this character Iggy, who was a complete dick for the time he was on the show, and you gave him one episode to himself, and that made me grow an attachment to it. I felt high tension from this dog. I felt everything I would in another anime series. This was slowly lacking in part 3. This is what part 3 needed for me. That, can these characters beat him? There was another time crunch. I think Paul Revere, the silver chariot guy, got turned into a kid. A woman picked him up, took care of him. She got turned into a fetus. She was not going to live long without being a fetus, you know, from this stand user who can revert people's time back and turn them younger and younger to a point of non-existence. But even that didn't feel like a time crunch. You know, I don't feel like the kid, Paul Revere's kid version, was worried about her. They mentioned it a little bit, but it wasn't like I have to defeat him. You know, like there was not really anything to it, you know. And I was more impressed with that stand user than most of the other stand users. Another stand user I was impressed with was Anubis. the Egyptian of the dead, his sword. I enjoyed it. That episode was cool. Okay. But it made no sense because how does a stand not have a user? And he said his user died a long time ago. And if I remember correctly, these stands are connected to the user. So if a stand gets hurt, so does the user. If the user gets hurt, I think so does the stand. I think. So if the stand gets, demolished or killed, then so does the person. So that was a little iffy and but I enjoyed it. It was quite cool that anyone could be its stand user, and every time it fights someone, it gains its knowledge. So the second round is probably going in the sword's favor. And he would have probably been a more deadly opponent if he happened to get someone who had sword skills, and which he ended up took over Silver Chariot's. But then it being JoJo, I wasn't JoJo. The fact that anytime JoJo someone, I feel like he's gonna win no matter with. He's gonna struggle a tiny bit, and even the way the character's set up, I feel like he's not even truly struggling. I feel like he's more of around and messing with him. I enjoyed Jonathan's Joestar over this JoJo. They, like I said before, they handled their deaths very carelessly, except for Iggy. They tried to do a Cockawing, I think his name is, Grand Emerald or something like that, Splash Emerald. That dude when Dio killed him. I think they could have infinite more action a little bit. Him trying to spell out Dio's secret, him a clue to a Grandpa Joestar, but it didn't really affect me that much, and I watched it all the way through. It's time to make me care for these characters for a damn. So honestly, I feel it. If you want to look at who's but still gets the job done without relying too much on others, I look at now again Naruto. Yes, he relies heavily, but he sticks. He doesn't just oh enough due to stupidity. Someone else take over. It wasn't. It might as well be Kakuin, Jonathan Joestar, or I mean Grandpa Joestar. He doesn't really have a fighting stand, so can't really do anything. But he does have Hormone, which I'm surprised he didn't use that a lot more. But the other ones, they had perfectly good fighting stands, and I felt like they lost here because of their own little mistakes, dumb, stupid shit they've done, the lack of carelessness that they know they can be attacked at any moment, but yet they still take it easy and they rely on their one sense of sensing danger, killer intent, or stand's energy. But still, once they think they won or something like that, the stupidity happens. It's real great stupidity. They really heavily underestimate their opponents, and that's when JoJo, the main JoJo for part 3, takes over and he wins. Struggles for a tiny bit, and it doesn't even feel like he truly even struggles. I feel like he's just taking his time. But again, look at Naruto. Naruto's a complete idiot, but yeah, he's clever and he's smart, and he will either outwit his opponent or sheer luck, something. But at least he doesn't get beat up every single time and then rely on Kakashi or even Sakura or Sai to bail him out. And sometimes that happens, but it didn't happen with I'm gonna go back to the old G Naruto. Shit, what was his name? Haku. It didn't happen with Haku. He didn't make stupid mistakes. He did his best. He took the fight very seriously. And a friend, or the ex-friend, pointed out that it's no fun watching someone's strength be based off their attack. Meaning, for Goku, the only way you can tell Goku got stronger was if he got a new form or his Kamehameha. And I feel like that's inaccurate. I mean, if you put a little bit of energy in the Kamehameha, then it's going to be a little Kamehameha. And if you put a lot of energy in the Kamehameha, then it's going to be a big Kamehameha, So, but again, considering Goku does mostly the Kamehameha for his finisher, but so does all the other stand users. They have their one ability. Star Emerald has Star Splash, Grand Chariot has just a sword, and his secret thing where the blade can shoot out. And JoJo Stamp Star Platinum is just really fast and really precise, you know, really. And that's what all we really got to see, except for the last 2 parts. And then also he was able to fucking stop time, which was bullshit. So I'll get to that one, because this will be a long ass video, because I really don't like this show. This really pissed me off. So like Star Platinum is the same thing. Oh, you know, the time of like punching really fast type of thing, you know. And like I don't think he ever did kicks, but mostly it's the you know. And that's funny to me. The sound he makes doing that is funny. So I enjoy when he does that. Now, do I get hyped when compared to Goku doing a Kamehameha or Naruto and Sasuke yelling out for each other for the final battle? No, it's not the same type of hypeness. It's more, this is funny, you know. And I laughed even more during JoJo when he was fighting the guy who played video games. And when what was it? The guy could read Soul's mind, and he couldn't figure out how his soul was telling the truth when JoJo was clearly lying when he's somehow cheating. And how it was revealed, you know, he begged and groveled for JoJo not to hit him, and he's like, "Are you gonna?" He's like, "If you're so psychic, then why don't you read me and ask me?" He goes, "Are you gonna hit me?" And the soul was like, "Yes, yes, yes." "Are you gonna use your right hand?" "No, no, no." "Are you gonna use your left hand?" "No, no, no." "Are you gonna use both?" "Yes, yes, yes, yes." "Are you And it goes, "Yes, yes, yes, yes." Yeah, that was fun, you know. I died. Don't get me wrong when I say I don't call JoJo. Humor is definitely there. Everything else sorely lacks. So fuck JoJo. Yo, the big heights. The one who's supposed to villain guy who's smart, intelligent, really just fucks up and literally just overestimates his opponent and literally gets bullshit, you know. He gets bullshitted. And by that I mean hires once. JoJo Star Platinum intent, you know. His thing was and be really strong close combat stand. That's how it was predicted, and that's how it was shown. And then at the last few minutes, all of a sudden he's able to like stop time. Like, oh, actually my stand's like yours. It can stop time too. Like what? At first he was able to move in a 1 second variable when time was frozen. So it could have been, oh, his stand can move when time is frozen, not that he can freeze time. And then it's all suddenly, boom, he can freeze time. Like not once was it depicted, not once, not a single one time. And so I feel like Dio got bullshitted, you know. I feel like they figured out there's no way that someone could stop a person who can stop time like it, you know, the way Dio can, and how no one else can. I feel like the writers backed himself up in the corner. You kind of saw this in Naruto with Madara. Madara was just OP, and the only way they really brought down Madara was the fact that Black Zetsu brought out the mother, you know, of all chakra users. You know, I think Black Zetsu has something to do with that. I think it was just like her weight, you know, no longer Jinkirji is not through getting beaten by Naruto and hit the tail strike. How Madara got this, got bullshit or even move, you know. There was no hints, there was no training, there was no nothing. Time to like one thing that can stop you, and I feel like that's what happened with Dio. Dio's always getting fucked up. You know, from what I've seen, part 1, they freeze the, couldn't run through. The sword happened, then switched in suddenly, and then boom, he got died, you know? But my thing is, again with Dio, what happened to the ability of freezing? He had ice powers, or controlled the freezing point. What happened to that? What happened to the eye laser beams? Did he just not use them because he had a stand now? I mean, that would have been really cool to see, like, he'd be almost like Superman. You wouldn't have to get close to JoJo at all. He could just use the eye beam, you know, when JoJo was frozen, And I'm pretty sure even Star Platinum wouldn't been able to like use his fist to block that. It would have gone through him, which would have damaged JoJo. Dio would have won. I honestly feel like Dio could have won this if they didn't have him. Oh, Star Platinum can now freeze time. That was lazy. That was absolutely lazy. You know, and I don't know why people don't call the show out for that. You know, people are like, oh, it's the best anime ever. It's better than those anime characters that just rely on friendship. I mean, granted, yes, a lot of the animes, they get their power on friendship and like, oh, my friend is in danger, I get a power boost. But if you think about it, most of these characters are heroes who are not trying to kill their opponents. So of course they're holding back, even though yes, their opponent is trying to kill them. And the opponent's goal is to kill the hero. But the hero's goal is not to kill the villain. Like Naruto, you know? Or even Natsu, you know, or even Ichigo in a sense, you know, not always. Actually, Ichigo tends to kill. Ichigo is looking to kill, I believe. I feel like, you know, but they're holding themselves back from actually doing that, you know, killing and not really going all out. But then when someone they love is in danger, not killing you, fucked up, I'm gonna go try and kill you. So now they're not hesitating anymore. They're not back. So you see that they're instinct mode, you know, instinct, going for it. And yes, they get a power boost, but if their powers are based off emotion, then that would explain why they get a power boost. It's from rage, you know. It's the adrenaline. Just like you know, you get stronger when you're angry. You can lift up something heavier. You know, so that's why those animes. But if you that's really stupid, look at the anime I got transferred on my smartphone. You know, that guy, he was OP, but he was making everyone slip and fall. It had everything he needed on that phone. You know, and it was just bullshit after bullshit. You look at Goblin Slayer. Goblin Slayer was beautiful. You know, he was a human. I don't know what it was like that. But he didn't pull out no bullshit powers or anything. Goblin couldn't beat. Yes, he had that scroll, but he was with the scroll. So it wasn't just like, oh, I got my magic scroll that's connected to the underneath the sea. You know, let me just take out this goblin, you know? It wasn't like that. You know? So I don't know, like, I don't think, you know, I can ever prove to people like JoJo is a bad anime. I like the Pillar Mans, but Dio, my boy Dio, he just gets, I don't know. I mean, compare him to Madara, compare him to Obito, or even Black Zetsu. You know, everyone says fucking Dio is the best manipulator in the anime universe. I mean, look at Black Zetsu. My dude Black Zetsu was around for centuries, manipulating people left and right to create the perfect condition to bring back Mother. You know, he started the wars. He was behind the scenes of everything, and you didn't even get to see that. You know, of course, Dio manipulated the stand users. You know, with his power and his wording alone, offered them something great. I mean, Black Zetsu, his Dio can get any wants, and I don't think that's due to his powers of being a hypnosis. Dick, absolutely. I mean, look at it. You know, he hated if we could rich and down. Oh, you're like boohoo. You know, like boohoo. He gets a dumb rich family. And yes, he's irritated that JoJo in part 1 was being a brute in a sense, you know, eating very messy. But does that give him the right to like, oh, kick the dog? Oh, steal the girl, steal the first kiss of his girlfriend? You know? Does it warrant poisoning his father? It just feels like he was just a psychopath from the get-go. And if they portrayed him as such, as that Dio was just a psychopath, a child that was born without really emotion and didn't care, then you could have just sold me on, yeah, Dio's gonna kick a dog because he wants to kick a dog and he doesn't care. That's a dog. You know, he doesn't care that this guy adopted him and now he has everything he wants. You know, but he's still gonna poison him. Why? Because he thinks it's fun. you know? And if they did it like that and played it off where he was a smart ass, very smart, intelligent psychopath, lack of emotion, that would have been good. But no, his drive is that he wants to be better than everyone. He's not satisfied with the things he has. So because of that, I view Dio as a brat, an entitled child, thinking that he deserves everything in life. And even though he had the opportunity to have everything in life, being rich, going to a fancy ass school, along with JoJo, you know, he still felt the need and compelled to want more and kill the father, you know, and torment JoJo, creating this hatred. And honestly, I don't care what era you're on, any man who had to deal with Dio at that time would have fucked Dio up, okay, and not hesitated. I'm just saying, okay? And you can't tell me no other man would, because go to anyone nowadays and say, hey, would you with someone forcing your girlfriend to kiss them? No man, especially in the back then. There was honor and all that, and there was duels. So no, there's no way anyone would have put up with that. You know, taking the high road, dealing with Dio. There's just no way. You know, so I call bullshit in that. But again, Dio gets caught. Dio decides, well, I don't want to get charged with murder and I don't want to get killed. I'm Dio. Let me become a vampire. You know, it's like kind of left field, like out of nowhere, like what? Like a vampire? You going Twilight on us? Like the fuck? Like I don't like no like. And then he talks a big game. He is strong, no doubt about it that he is strong, but not as strong as the Pillar Men. You know, so and the only thing that can hurt him is hormone, something that's like key controlled breathing, and he gets destroyed because of stupidity. He gets too cocky for his own good. He doesn't realize that when he gets stabbed with a sword that has hormone running through it, and I already mentioned this, he freezes it. He has a power ability to have a freezing point, you know. But he still gets messed up because the sword happened to stab through him and be on an open flame. And I want to point out something. During the whole this, I can see the people who pop in and hear this, you know. And if they had to see this title as JoJo versus other animes I've seen in Thoghts. And where they had the idea like, oh, he's gonna defend and show how JoJo's better than all the other animes, they're totally wrong. And so then they leave because they don't want to hear it. I personally feel like. My friend, or ex-friend I should say, he employed me to watch it. He employed me that it's better than Fairy Tail and all this other crap. But JoJo lacks emotion for part 3 at least. And I don't understand what happened. Like, how can 1 and 2 be filled with emotion? You know, with smart characters. But in 3, it's filled with dumbass people. Rely on JoJo to fix their dumbass mistakes. Wins. We get to the main villain, Dio. And the same bullshit happens. The same bullshit. Dio gets bullshitted. I'm expecting this fight. Dio, the vampire, the immortal, fully crush these idiots. You know, I'm surprised these idiots did as far as they did. I honestly believed that by the time JoJo got tired, people would have been luck after luck. So I thought, you know what? Dio's gonna fuck up everyone, you know? And I don't like Dio, but I want Dio to fuck up everyone. What happens? Dio doesn't really fuck up everyone. Dio fucks up one guy. One guy, and that was brutal. He also killed Grandpa JoJo. Considering that I like that JoJo, it was funny. And humor. I didn't feel anything. Could we not have had of him being out? Seeing his in part 2, you know, meeting up to the man an honest, sweet moment? No, we didn't. And I was like, was I surprised? I was like, yeah, they killed the dog. Yeah. Just like I was surprised that shit, they killed the dog. Multiple dogs in this show. The actually important, Iggy. You know, my boy Iggy. I felt more for Iggy than anyone else. You know, and I felt like a lot of these people who were like leaving in and out, like, oh, he's talking shit about JoJo, I don't want to be here. You know, because he doesn't know what he's talking about. You're right. And I heard Dio comes back. You know, but can we something? You know, before I wrap this up, you know, because I've been talking about this for like a good hour, you know, or close to it. They bring back Grandpa JoJo. I'm like, what? You know, you brought back Grandpa JoJo. Why would you bring back Grandpa JoJo? Like, he's already old. He's gonna die anyways. I mean, kind of waste, you know, why risk that, you know? And I gotta say, Grandpa JoJo is still a dick. I felt like young Grandpa JoJo came back from the dead. Because this man thought it would be the most hilarious thing to do. He was like, hey, they brought me back? Instead of wondering what's happening, instead of like how this is possible, this man thinks of the best prank from the moment he woke up, the instant he woke up, and to pretend that he was Dio. And he almost got fucked up. And I thought that was hilariously funny. Like, no, Jotaro, it's me. I'm just kidding, you know. They even go, the artist and the writer even goes as far as to changing the aura and the eye color and everything. You know, to actually make the audience believe that, oh shit, Dio came back and goes body. In fact, I would have respected them if they did that. I thought that would be really cool if they did that. And even if they didn't do that, the fact that they could have made him a villain and he's being resurrected as a villain. If there's anyone who actually knows more than me and JoJo, I'm pretty sure there's a lot because I don't read the manga. Technically, it's fusion. Dio's blood, right? Can he be a vampire now? Correct me if I'm wrong, you know, think about that, you know, for a second. You know, he should technically be a vampire. That's my feelings on it. I think he should have been a vampire at that point. You know, I think there could have been had a touching moment where he woke up and it was like, no, just let me die. I've done everything, you know, tell Holly I love her, you know. But no, death is inconsequential, which ruins everything. Sadly, that do make it out. Our adventure of is Joe and his grandpa. And I mean, I guess you're gonna have to have 5 because, you know, you gotta carry on the JoJo bloodline because, you know, there's a part 5. And apparently there's just 12 and the manga is really long and been around before I was born apparently. But you know, I'm just going back to the devs. I believe in devs that have done it way times better. Jiraiya, Neji, you know, but their deaths were not only iconic, it was built up, you know, and they cared about it, you know. Even the false death when it comes to Asta in High School DxD. Sherry from Code Geass, when she died, she's been through the ringer, lost her memory, still fell in love with Velush, remembers everything just to die by Lolo. Even Lolo's death, or Volo, whatever how you say his name, him freezing time over and over to get Velush out of there, him dying, you know. And by that time, Velush honestly did kind of care for Volo, you know, at that point, you know. So to have that tragic moment with the song being played, I feel like it was almost either done by a different writer, or they just said, fuck it, we really don't care about these characters, or this anime was not made for you to relate to the characters or even feel any remotely attachment to them. But yet Dio is loved by millions and the series is loved by millions. So I have to say, did anyone cry when the freaking green Mr. Cherry loving dude died? I know people had to cry when Iggy died because I got choked up, you know. And you know, I honestly felt if the Grand Chariot, that dude, Silver Chariot, I think his name is, for his stand, I forget the stand user's name, Polar V or something like that. Can't say his name correctly, but that guy, you know, his death, which wasn't really a death, but it was more of a fake out, and it was actually Iggy that died. That was a beautiful way of handling his death. If they actually went through with it and killing him off like that, satisfied, you would have had me probably shed a tear for a man who had for it at all. You know, they squandered because they were like, oh, the dog's the one that's. So that was some emotion out of the entire series, and I felt like if you can draw that much emotion out of me for this one scene, you could have had. I feel like JoJo being too calm and collective about things, which ruined it, especially with the time crunch thing. You know, it's not like their time and defeat Dio in a year or so, or 2 years. Wait to get stronger to handle Dio because other situation. But I didn't feel like, oh no, we have to hurry. And last type of thing, check-ins like, oh, you know, hurry up. Where's the love? You know, deep down, I get that JoJo's really, but so couldn't you have like crack JoJo a bit, you know, or some. Or make him actually, like, if it was off scene or from everyone else, the audience could have seen him. Or maybe that's the fact that I'm just so used to emotional. I'll give you guys that. If JoJo, I'm not giving it. And dislike my posts on YouTube. This actually might be the first time I get dislike. That's gonna be crazy. Or hate comments, but. I don't know what to tell you. I watched the anime. I gave it a fair shot. I watched 1, 2, and 3. I watched it both subbed and dubbed. Okay. I like part 2. I like part 1. It was interesting. I felt like, you know, I liked the premise of it. You know, the stands kind of fucked everything up in a sense. You know, but I still don't like the show. I give it respect. I give my respect out to part 1 and 2. And only a couple of episodes get my respect for part 3. But as a whole, no. Not really. To have your villain get beaten up due to the lack of his cockiness, his arrogance, being overgrande, thinking his opponent was so much. You know, this man was the same guy who was worried in their potential and yet underestimated him. And also he's you know, so it's like, I'm sorry, but no, I don't like JoJo. I don't know if I'm gonna put myself through watching the other parts. Gave it a amount. Used to all the animes that have to do with friendship, Sword Art, Code Geass, and Code Geass doesn't really do with anything with friendship. Rampa, Fair, or 3, and with Red Eye, you know, this game, Death Note, Romeo and Juliet anime. They did that. I've seen it all on you guys. It's not like, you know, I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry, you know, I don't like it. Whatever. I mean, it's not a good anime. I hate to the day for part 1, part 2, and part. I mean, well, you definitely can't say part 3 because I can disprove a lot of things. Part 3, part 1 and 2, I'll give it to you. It's good. I enjoyed it. I have a little issues here and there, little nitpicks, but that's it. But 3, hate it with a passion. You know, it was torture to watch it twice, subbed and dubbed, just in case. You know, there's people out there that's like, well, you only watched it in subbed, or it's not as good as the dubbed, or reverse it, you only watched the dub. It's only sub all the way. You either love sub anime or you're not an anime fan either. You know, and there's people out there that are like, you don't like JoJo? Pfft, disgraceful. You're not the real anime fan. Shut up. Honestly, shut the fuck up. JoJo's not that good. I'm sorry. It's really not. I hate it. It's stupid. You know, I gave you all my plots. Naruto and Neji had a better death scene than any of the JoJo characters. Natsu's rage, you know, when he was trapped in the fake dragon, that was really, really cool. Well done. Issei from Future High School DxD, an ecchi anime, did a better false death, fake death than this subpar good anime, best of the best anime. You know, and as the day got closer, you could see that they weren't gonna make it. So what was it gonna be? How were they gonna say the part? Was the person who actually, this is really, I'll let you stay open, like that was the bullshit was gonna happen? No, it was down to the, and that's got me like, oh no, they're gonna make it. I felt that anxiety. JoJo, I don't have that. It missed its mark. When it comes to its emotional side, it missed its mark. And what makes me mad is, it's not like they couldn't have emotion in the anime. It wasn't like they didn't know how to portray it, because they did. You saw that when it came to Iggy's death and silver hair guy Paul Revere and him thinking he was gonna die. Iggy's episode that he got to himself versus the Falcon. You saw the emotion there. You saw the pride. You saw like that. But so you can't tell me, oh, well, they didn't know how, or he didn't know how. No, I'm sorry. It's not gonna happen. So it's just not worth it. It's nothing really. And this has almost been about an hour, and I'll probably make a shorter YouTube video of this, at least. In fact, I'm thinking I'm gonna do that next. So this is for the stream, and then I'll make a shorter stream video for the YouTube channel. But it's just all bad. I'm sorry. It's just I don't like it. Okay, I just don't. And if you guys think I'm a false anime fan, if you guys think that I lost my mind for not liking JoJo, by the way, this is also gonna. I don't like Cowboy Bebop. Honestly, I try to watch. It's just boring to me. I can't. It doesn't grab my attention. I'm sorry. I can't watch through it, and my opinion will be biased on that show completely because I can't watch it. I tried. It's just boring. It's not my cup of tea. I'm sorry. Don't hate me. No, I did not watch all the entire series. No, I'm not planning to because I can't. It doesn't grab. And I love that I lost someone as soon as I said I don't like Cowboy Bebop. That's funny. I'll catch you guys later on the flip side. Until next time, this has been your boy King Games 80 of King's Nation, and I'll catch you guys later. Oh, I'm stupid. I was trying to do something else.